all of a sudden we strike, and he just hammer, and we're just like, dive down. I remember that one time, Josh, you're like, get down.
Felt like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Get down. Shut up. He said, he kept on telling us that.
I was like, well, if I throw a mic on, then I can help others the way that these people have all helped me.
Born in the heart of the Pennsylvania deer camp, with the help of experts, friends, and local legends, we bring you valuable knowledge and powerful stories for your hunting adventures. Welcome to the East Meets West Hunt Podcast with your host, Beau Martonik.
Well, I wonder who's going to fall first, boys. Birds.
We got. I guess before we get to rolling too much, for people
good.
that are listening and can't see the stuff going on here, so we've got to my left, we've got Josh Ilderton from the Untamed. I think at this point, probably has been on more than anybody else on the podcast as he's chugging a gallon of water, and then
Because Beau loves me so much.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I just don't have enough friends, I guess. But
Terrible. It don't say a whole lot for me, man.
Then down to his left, we've got Mella. Mack, this is his first podcast appearance.
How's it going, everybody? Good to be here.
Yeah, so Mack had been filming for the Untamed last fall, and now filming here throughout the spring, and doing a lot of the work here behind the scenes and in front of the camera. You've been you shot a nice buck last year here in West Virginia and everything else.
Yeah, it was an awesome internship and led to where I'm at right now. So it's been cool. For sure.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to see you come back here again and everything, and get to hang out. Because I've been down here probably 4 times since you started with the internship and everything. So got to know you.
Yeah, my
well.
first time meeting you was when you came down and bear hunted with us.
Yeah,
and that was my first time bear hunting as well with dogs.
Oh, that is right.
Yeah, so that was a kind of a jump right into the fire. Seemed like.
Yeah.
When you start out with that, it's kind of jumping into the fire.
Yeah, it was a good experience though. I thought overall it was great.
Started out bear hunting, and also with it being 85 degrees and humid and everything else in September, that one weeds out the week pretty quick.
Yep.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's why Beau only hunted one day. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
He walked into it.
yeah, I know I did, but
Well, what if he got to the tree and said, he's too small?
well,
Somebody else would have got on the gun.
Yeah.
yeah, when I can't even talk. What the heck is it? Oh, yeah, I guess it's been I was gonna say every time I come down here, I've been lucky enough on day number 1, but that's not the case with deer hunting. Just this turkey season, the last bear season.
Yeah.
I mean, you've run pretty good in West Virginia.
Yeah,
in the past 5 years.
I've got good people to learn from.
You know, you've had some really good encounters, and you've killed several animals.
Yeah,
bear and turkey and deer and.
Well, the one day you came down, you had that close encounter with that 8-pointer that Zach and I were chasing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ended up missing him, but that was like you had just got there that day, I'm pretty sure, maybe the day beforehand.
It was the first day I actually hunted, because the first day I was here, I hunted with Josh, when he shot his buck.
Oh, yeah.
Next day, I did hunt with Gary. He shot a buck an hour in, so I only sat for an hour, and then that was the first day kind of like out on my own doing some hunting. But no, it's been good. I love coming here, and I think more so, I mean, obviously West Virginia is a beautiful state and has plenty of opportunity, but more so just getting to hang out with everybody and the camaraderie. We've got a good camp vibe going here all the time, so it's a lot of fun.
It is. That's one thing that we had a bunch of people here last week, and you got to hear on the tail end. But that's one thing that I think that all of us enjoy is everybody coming and spending a week or so. I mean, during either deer season or turkey season or coming down and bear hunting. It's fun to have people here and let them experience these mountains.
Yeah. And just this week, like, I was at the trailer on Sunday, and then all the guys from THP showed up. Just Hunt Club showed up. Bruce Hall came down, and then Beau showed up, and then Caden Gray's coming down.
Yeah.
We had like 9 guys staying in the trailer for like a week there. All of a sudden, it was like pretty cool.
They were under the couches, in the cabinets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's fun. I mean, last spring we had a pretty good turkey camp, and I'm sure there'll be a couple more people kind of come in and out rest of turkey season. I don't know if they will now since it's been tough.
Yeah.
The last week.
Yeah. So the opener, was it later this year than normal? It felt like it was like a week behind.
It is a week. They opened it a week later than what it typically opens. And don't know the decision-making behind that or an explanation for that. But that's what the DNR decided to do. It's not just here. It's not because of our season's late. I think it's weird everywhere. I mean, we were in Kentucky the week before, and it wasn't real good down there either.
No.
I mean, you either hear birds on a roost and you don't hear them after that, or you don't hear any birds on a roost and you start hearing birds about 8:30 or 9. But Zach killed one in Kentucky the week before. And then the whole group, as a group last week, the whole group did good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we had a lot of people in the woods. But as a whole camp, it was a really good week.
Yeah, there was several people got birds. Yeah.
And you would expect that, but you take that many people, you're covering a lot of acreage.
Yeah, that's and hunting hard.
Yeah, and hunting from the crack of dawn till legal time at 1:00. Every one of us was staying out. It seemed like you get back here at 2:30 after getting out of the woods, and then up and do it again. I mean, it's turkey season's a grind, but everybody was hunting. I don't think any birds got killed early. I'd say Zach's bird was the earliest bird got killed. And
I don't think anybody killed one off the roost. I think they were mostly like after 9:00.
Yeah,
a lot of them were like around 11 to 12. It seemed like,
and it's just finding that bird that's just suicide gobbling. You know, because if you didn't find that bird, it didn't seem like you were going to get one to play with. And then we screwed up a couple birds. I missed a bird, which, hey, no surprise. I had to get it out of the way. I usually have one, maybe 2, possibly 3 misses a season. So
hey, I can't even say anything to you there.
It don't bother me.
Are you going to go into that story at all?
Woohoo!
You?
Oh gosh!
Well, I can just tell y'all.
Yeah.
He's a little far.
Yeah. As I've got older, my eyesight has gone away from me a little bit, and I didn't have my glasses or contacts in, and I'm telling you, I had one just off the rip on the roost and just gobbling his head off, and I sweetened him up, and he fired. Well, the greatest thing was when we were going to set up, we bumped the hen off the roost that was about 80 yards from him. And she never made a noise. All she did was just sail off. And as soon as she sailed off, I called, and, man, he gobbled just to let know that one was still up there. And this bird came in on a string off the roost. And I've only killed a bird off the roost out of state in the Northeast. I've never killed a bird off the roost down here. And this bird, we watched him come in, and I'm sitting there watching him strut. And, I'm checking him. I'm looking at him with both eyes. One eye closed, trying to see which one I can see better. And I said, I can kill him. And I shot, and he ran off. And then we went back and looked at the footage, and he ended up being about 85 yards away.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so He was way far. I didn't even touch him. He ran from the gunshot.
Yeah.
All the pellets fell before they got to him.
And you know, it is. I've run into that situation last year. I did it in Pennsylvania that I shot way too far of just not judging it properly, and I was just like, there he is, finally get a chance, and then shooting, and I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I said. It was the first day I was behind the gun.
Yeah.
I was a little bit excited, and the bird strutted up there for 5 minutes, and it's just like, yeah, I can shoot him, but did not judge the roll. There was like a little point, and I didn't judge it, and he was just too far. And then going back and looking, then we were like, Jesus, that's ridiculous. That I thought he was close enough to shoot at.
Was he up above you when
Yeah.
you shot? Okay.
Yep. He had come in. He actually come off the roost on our level, and then circled above us. And it just bad. Good decision, bad judgment. You know.
Yep.
Got to fire at him.
You'll have that.
But misses don't matter to me. We get beat on for misses, and
happens to everybody.
it don't bother me a bit.
Now, I mean, for the most part, I don't know anybody that hasn't missed or doesn't miss. It's just whether they share that or not.
Yeah. You're probably right.
I'm a firm believer in that. I've learned it even from going into camps with people that that are killers, but I'm like, man, how do you, I had this problem. Oh no, I have that too. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't feel as bad.
Yeah, so we got that out of the way, and then it's just been tough hunting. I mean, they're just not acting. I mean, I think they're completely henned up is the biggest issue. And I don't know if it'll be this week that the hens start separating and going on nest, or next week. I'm hoping that something light switch goes off and they start acting right. I mean, we're going to keep on hunting, but it's just like today, all three of us went out, and I haven't looked at my trail track to see how many miles we walked, but we went on a good walk today, and
I think we're at least my watch is over 7 right now.
Yeah, so we walked that today, and we heard one bird at daylight and screwed that one up. Didn't really screw it up, but, when you hear one bird on the roost and you get set up on him, and we were set up within 100 yards of him, and he's gobbling, and it sounds like he's on the ground, and he's just in a strut zone, gobbling away, gobbling the side, gobbling, facing us, but not moving. Well, we got up to make a move after like 40 minutes, and would we go 60 yards?
Probably went about 60 yards
Yeah.
up there and set up again, and then...
And we jumped the birds out of the tree. They were still roosted an hour after daylight.
Well, I kind of want to break down that scenario a little bit. So what was interesting was, we were going and we're like, man, we were on ridges where we had 2 big bowls basically on either side of us that had multiple points coming off. And you're like, how are we not hearing any birds? There's got to be birds in here. They're just not, not acting off. And I don't remember what caused that one. Did you hoot or something, or did it just
I think the first time we heard him, Josh heard him. He was gobble on his own, and then I think I hooted at him a few times, and I didn't hear him for the first 3 times, but you kept on hearing him. And then I think Beau heard it, and then as we moved up there, it got clearer and clearer, and then
it's so hard to pinpoint them in these big steep mountains like that a lot of times, where you're like, is he across the holler over there? Is he just down around one of these faces on the other side that makes him seem like he's further away than he is? And you go through this constant battle, but actually both of you guys dropped the pin on the map exactly where he was. But we kept moving closer to try to get...
We were probably, 800 to 1,000 from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't measure.
I didn't measure it either when we first heard him.
Yeah, probably 800.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah, and so we'd moved in, and we're getting up through there, and trying to get in. This one spot was kind of thick that we had to go through, and Mack brought this up after the fact that we didn't recognize at the time, but it might have been the reason why those birds stayed in the roost long as they did was we had to go through some stuff that was relatively noisy no matter what we tried to do. 3 guys trying to go through is not the best case scenario with it, and realizing those hens were roosted above him even closer to us. So they might have been within 150 yards of us when we were having to go through that crap.
Yeah.
Oh, I think after, Mack brought it up, it makes complete sense that because that's all I could think about when we were going through there. It was like, he's going to hear us.
Yep.
Even that close. But you can't, when you get in those autumn olives and just knowing, I thought we were going to be able to drop over. But it was just way too thick. Everything in there was. And I do think that those birds heard us, didn't see us, but that'll spook those birds. And I do think, and the hens weren't even saying anything on them.
No.
They weren't tree yelping or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that thinking back after Mack brought it up, that I'm sure that's what's happening is they got spooked by thinking there's a predator on the ground close, and they just shut up, and then they were making sure before they pitched off that it was all clear.
And that gobbler's just going to follow the hens kind of wherever.
That's right.
They go. He's right with them, so he's going to stick with them and try to get one of them right away in the morning.
Yeah,
is what I would think it would do.
And so that situation, there was this kind of grassy gas line that was kind of up on top, and they were off on the side down there where they were roosted at. And at least this is, and I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion. But knowing what we know now, obviously we wouldn't have moved from that first spot we were sitting at because they were still in the tree. But even if they, I think even they were going to come up there at some point. That's where they were feeding at. You could see all the scratching and stuff. They were gonna come up through there. But hindsight's 20/20 with all of it. What do you think? Would you so let's give a different scenario. If they would have been on the ground, would you think that move that we did was still the right move of moving forward out on that point?
I would have.
Yeah.
I would have, if that bird was down on, say, that old skid road or whatever below the top.
Yep.
I would have still made the move, even if I screw it up, I'm good with it because it was my decision to get aggressive. Now, with these birds, the way they're acting, we should probably give them a little bit more time to react to the call, because he did cut when he gobbled to the call. He cut me off twice.
Yeah, I would say with what you're saying, I remember we were sitting on the tree and he responded to you the one time, and then you called a few more times. He didn't respond, and then he kind of just gobbled randomly again.
Yeah,
and he was in the same spot, and then we were like, okay, we got to move. And then you turned to me and you're like, he's got hens. And I was like, yeah, he probably does. He's just sitting down there strutting in the same spot, and those hens are kind of just doing circles around him.
Yeah,
is the scenario that I had come into my head right away.
Yeah.
So then sometimes when you do that, it helps to get a different angle on them, to pull them into a different spot. But so I think that was our thought process, and none of us really believed that they were in the tree yet. So
well, and to the fact that we were calling up there, those hens probably don't want to go take him in up there with those other hens unless you had them mad. But they weren't even responding, so they weren't upset.
No. Like I said, hindsight's 20/20. You can't do anything different.
No.
But I think if we would have stayed where we were first set up, that their natural movement would have put them up there on that top ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you saw the scratching and stuff, my guess is they were maybe 30, 40 yards off the top of the ridge, roosted. So my guess is they were on the ridge yesterday evening and pitched straight out and roosted. The gobbler was below them. and he was probably 30, 40 yards from them.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I don't know. I mean, you always beat yourself up because, especially today, one, you beat yourself up because the season, it has been tough. And then two, you get a bird gobbling, and the only bird you heard today that we heard, we jumped him off the roost, which who would have ever thunk he gonna be in the tree hour after daylight?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and now like we did that, and that's a long ways away from the truck where we were at.
yeah, I mean, we were a mile and a half, maybe more in.
Yeah. And this is where I think, like, when I watch you guys that I consider good turkey hunters, really good turkey hunters, on how you're laughing because of but listen, let me finish here before you guys start laughing. So, is that you don't, yes, you get discouraged for a second, but it's like, all right, back to rolling the game plan of what you're doing, keep working the ridge, and what I've learned a lot is watching the amount of, your style is extremely aggressive, but also not taking shortcuts, and you're checking every little nook and cranny along those ridges. You don't just call into this big holler and be like, oh, nothing's in there. We'd sit there, and especially when you're in the woods, going through and just working each of those little sections and going through to try to turn one up. And today, it didn't work out as far as we didn't. But when we were up there was so much elevation from the top to the bottom that you were like, I don't think that these birds, if they are down low, are hearing us right now. So we got down another bench, worked that back around that point, and then got a little bit lower, and we're working at trying to make sure they can hear us in those different directions.
Yeah.
The sound in these mountains when you're turkey hunting, especially if you're hunting off the ridges, if the listeners can kind of picture, if you're on one ridge, not the best scenario, but the best sound you're going to get is from turkeys straight across from you on the other face of the mountain. Them gobbling back at you. It's going to be very faint the deeper they get on your side. And if there is a finger or a point off any face, doesn't matter if it's across from you on your side, you have to cast that sound down in there, because sometimes you'll be casting straight here and say you're in between two fingers. Well, if you're looking down the hill, the finger on your right, if there's a bird around that finger, he might not be hearing you. So that's why you only move 40, 50 yards sometimes and call again. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing on the face. You're looking at the face of a mountain and trying to call. Well, you might have a point coming diagonal, and you're calling into that diagonal point, and they can't hear you. And then once you get downstream a little bit, you cast your call straight up in that drain. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they'll gobble, but you have to. I mean, that's one thing that we do is, I know we talk about it a bunch in our videos, the sound here, but you have to make sure that you continuously cast the sound in those nooks and crannies. I mean, you're down here for the first time turkey hunting.
Yeah.
So you've been down here 2 weeks in Kentucky and here.
Yeah.
What have you?
I think the biggest
from the mountains.
I think the biggest thing I've taken away from it all is like the most clearest gobble, where you can hear like the like all like the little inflections in the gobble, is like when it's direct line of sight. Like those birds that we were moving on, we were just moving around the curve to them. And when we were getting parallel to them and they were on that point, we were only 200 yards from them maybe. But when we go around, then you're getting farther, and then they sound less clear, and then you get closer to them. And then when they hit the ground, like I was hunting with Zach the other day, and we had this bird, and he was in the tree, and we were set up on the berm. Stupid setup. We were set up on a rock cliff. Didn't know it was there. But the bird comes down, hits the ground, and I was like 10 yards behind Zach, and he goes up to call, and we're like, this thing, it sounds like he's deep down in there, because it was just like, you couldn't really hear it. And it's just off the other side of this point, down 70 yards, and Zach goes over there and calls, and he's like, he's right here. Like, he's 70 yards. And I'm like, he sounds like he's 150 away from me.
Yeah.
And I'm only 10 yards behind him. So then I move up, and I'm like, holy crap, like you rattled my my ears, yeah.
But that is, I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, on the bird that John and I got on last week, we struck that bird, and we didn't really know how far away he was. We knew he wasn't within a couple of points of us. But then as we kept on going, it's like, man, he crossed the holler. But then we finally ended up, he was on our side, and he came right to us. But, I mean, man, he blew our ears off when we finally got around the right point.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just like, bam, right there. Mm-hmm. There's so much of a difference in the sound, and if you're not used to it, you're going to pie face some birds.
Yeah. And vice versa too. Like, like our sound, that even if we're like stumbling through a bunch of stuff 200 yards away, like that sound's going to carry over to the birds too, which I think is maybe what hurt us this morning a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I think after you brought it up, I definitely think that's what kept them spooked and kept them in the tree so long, is looking for predators. But it is what it is. I mean, you know.
But I've enjoyed learning about like hunting in this country, like in the steep hills. I've never hunted anything like this before in my life, so it's been a total learning process. I'm just trying to soak up as much as I can from it so far.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. It's a unique type of hunting, especially for turkeys. I mean, there's places in hill country and stuff, and even like the mountains and some of the areas that I'm hunting are not as steep or as like don't have as many terrain features as here. So it's not the same as it is here. I mean, here it's just like, I mean, you really are having to call at every little corner where you might be able to cover more ground between calling in that less steep country, if that makes any sense. And and it's just like it's just picturing it, like how, just looking at the terrain and like how it's casting, and just thinking of like almost like if you were to highlight it, of like, you say you're using sun shading on your map, and you can see if the sun's at this angle, what's lighting it up, what's in shade. And that's kind of the same way when you like, you're just doing it in your mind of how your calls are going through there. And as we were going through, I was looking at the map. I'm like, okay, I'm watching when you're calling and looking back. I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing, how you're casting those calls down in those places. And at one point we were on this kind of it was a ridge. It was kind of a knife ridge, but it had benches on either side, and we split up casting it so we could cover both haulers in one, at one time.
Yeah. Well, another thing is that we were calling a lot today, and normally we hoot a lot. Well, I don't hoot a lot because I'm not very good at it. Mack can hoot pretty good, and Zach can hoot pretty good, but I've got a hoot call, but Zach don't like to use a hoot call, so it's just his personal preference. But we typically hoot and try to locate. So, but we were calling and trying to strike one, and so the other end of that calling so much is when you're turkey hunting, it only takes 20, 30 yards. And you might be 20, 30 yards back, and you move 40 yards, and you call again. That might be all it took to get inside this turkey's bubble, and he's going to gobble. And so you call quite a bit, and you're getting in every nook and cranny, but you're also making sure you don't all of a sudden get in this gobbler's bubble, and then he face gobbles you, and you're prepared a little bit instead of going around that next point and he's standing there strutting on the bench. So you call a little bit more where we were trying to strike so much that just in case you do get inside one of these gobbler's bubbles, he might not be in that bubble where you was 100 yards away. Mm-hmm. But maybe the third time you call after leaving from there, you call again, then bam, he's right there on you, because you got in his bubble. So you just want to, that's another reason why we called so much today. And and trying to strike one up. And I kept on thinking, I knew, like, Beau talks about us just staying persistent and hunting, but like, it's just past experiences that, I mean, like, yeah, we screwed that bird up this morning. Let's go find another one. Like, I knew we were going to get on another bird. And that's my mindset no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're going to find one. We're going to find one. Well, we didn't find one today. And then, like, you all didn't find one yesterday.
No.
You know what I mean? That's how tough it is. But, you know, you could leave the mountain and come down here and eat biscuits and gravy. But you damn sure ain't going to find one down here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you got to stay after it. But that isn't one of the reasons why we are calling so much, is just in case you did get into a bubble with a gobbler and you didn't pie face him if he was staying quiet from a distance out, and then you hit again. So, but we didn't find any, man. And I don't know why. I mean, I kept on telling Mack, there got to be a bird in here.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna hear a bird right here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we had some intel from the day before that there were several birds right on that point there.
Well, and the sign. I mean, even without that intel, there was so much scratching,
and I
felt like I was about to step on one.
Yeah, and kind of as we're walking on those points, like we were when we split. Yeah, we're going around the point like that, and I'm kind of like constantly like soft, like clucking on the call, just. Or doing like short little things like on the mouth call, real soft, just in case like we just happen to run up on one and he's for some reason can't hear us until we get within 100 yards of him, and it'll scare us probably. We'll have to dive into a setup, but at least we'll know he's there.
Yeah,
have one of them old crap moments.
Yeah, honestly, I love those.
Oh no, you have old crap moment and get away with it.
Yeah,
last year that's all we were getting into. I felt like, and it's a little bit different this year, but. Last year, I felt like I was constantly, it'd be like all of a sudden we strike and he just hammer and we're just like, dive down. I remember that one time, Josh, you're like, get down.
Felt like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Get down. Shut up. He kept on telling us that.
So then, but like with this, the struggles of finding these birds that are hot, and it doesn't seem like it's really a population issue by any means. It's just that they're not fired up. But the example, the first day I came in here and hunted, I got super lucky to be able to find one that wanted to play. And the way you guys had said it, and even John that was hunting me, is like, we've been looking all week for a bird like this. Yeah. And it was a spot where we'd worked this ridge the whole way out to the point, and sign everywhere, tracks, scratching, hadn't heard anything, worked our way around it, and John had to leave to go back to New York. John from Just Hunt Club, he was just on the podcast the other day, or a couple weeks ago, and so we were going back, and literally John looked at me in the camera and was like, this is the last call before I got to go, and you're on your own. And he struck, and boom, one gobbled. And it was like, it was a ways off, and it was that same situation where it was like, all right. And both me and John looked at each other. We're like, man, I think that bird's closer than we think. I think he's just down in this drain there. It makes it kind of difficult. And then Matt, who was filming, he's like, I think he might even be on our level or just below. So we went through the scenario back and forth, and we're like, all right, let's get him to call again. And then he answered back like probably 2 minutes later, and he was closing distance fast. So we're like kind of scrambling, like, all right, let's set up. And we're sitting there on this top, and there's kind of this opening there. And I was like, all right, he's going to come up the hill to us. We're above him. This field seems to be where all this sign is. Like, he wants to be here. It seems perfect. Well, he starts, all of a sudden I start hearing him below, like just working his way around the bench. I looked at the map, and I was like, all right, he's working that bench. So, and John was staying behind and calling. So I just ran towards the edge of the ridge, just where it was starting. I stayed off just enough where I could see down a little bit, but not not too much, not where I was looking like, a silhouette at the top of the hill there, but I could see probably 30 yards down, or 25, 30 yards down over the hill, and he starts coming up the hill right. I'm like, he's going to walk right down the barrel of the gun. I was like, this is perfect. And he was probably only 45, 50 yards away, but I couldn't see him, and he's just double and triple gobbling and cutting off the calls, and I'm like, he's going to be here. And then all of a sudden, nothing for a couple minutes, and I hear pow, pow, kind of going away back on that bench. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So we ran back up, met with John. We sprinted out the ridge and looked at the map, and it's like, all right, the point we were on earlier, that bench teeters off and hits there. And John had said, he's like, I think he wants to come up here, but it's so steep and nasty that I just don't think he wanted to come up in that spot. And so we made the decision to try to, the whole way down, it looked the same. Like, it's just super steep there. We're like, let's get down to where that peters out and where he's going to want to come up is what we thought. We get down there, and the mistake that we made was we located him with a call versus an owl or a crow call. Yeah. And he answered us below, and we're like, all right, great, we're out ahead of him. So we kept going, got down right above where his level would have been. Next, we call, boom, he's up to where we just were, and we're like, crap. And at that point, it's like, all right, we're down below him. This isn't a good scenario, but he's so hot that, and we didn't have much time because he was only 150 yards or so at that point. So I ran up just a little bit. It was actually below to where I was probably about 40 yards from the top of the ridge, and then John jumped back behind, and I think that was the key to pulling this turkey in. It wasn't me calling where I was sitting at. Otherwise, I think he would have peeked his head up over that hill, not seen what he wanted, and took off. But John being behind, that bird came in on a string down this grassy road and worked his way down. And I kept panicking as I'm looking through the gun. Matt was behind me with the camera. I'm like, are you on him? And he's like, no. And I'm glad, because it made me be patient to let him keep coming. But I was thinking in my head of when I'm in a solo scenario of like, he's going to book at any point. He's coming down looking. But because John was, down behind me there, he had no idea we were there where we were sitting at. So he ended up coming into within 20 yards and where I shot him at. And I'll be honest, when he was coming through there, he looked like a baby velociraptor coming down off that hill. That was a big bird.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Had a big Sherwin-Williams on him.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I'll be interested to measure that one and see what.
You have to get his measurements there.
Because he was long.
I wasn't even worried about the length of it. The thickness of that beard's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole
girth.
That girth.
The girth on that beard, man. It was pretty wild. And the body, too, is big. I was carrying him out. It's like, this is a heavy bird. And but his spurs weren't very big. I mean, it looked like it would be a 2-year-old, but Josh, you were saying something about it's hard to find birds with big spurs here. They get kind of ground down with the rocks.
They're just old rock spurs. I don't year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old. I honestly, and I've said it, like, man, he's just a dumb 2-year-old. How do we know the age? We just assume.
Yeah, you just assume off of what.
I mean, we say that, and it's like, and I say it, but like I start thinking to myself, you're an idiot, Josh. Like who says it? I mean, we're aging turkeys. That's why I said from now on, if it's got a full fan, I could care less about its beard. Don't care about its spurs. I'm gonna shoot this son of a bitch. That's it. Full fan. And he's a mature bird. As long as he don't have the step up.
It's a tom, yeah. That's what's great about turkey hunting is it's not about.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be about anything other than getting a gobbler.
You know, I mean, I'm not saying because of you saying
no,
he's not like a 2-year-old, but it has gotten. You see it all over social media.
Oh yeah.
People trying to age birds.
No, and I was just saying because of body and the beard, he's
probably an older bird.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Probably 10 plus.
Oh yeah,
Christ,
yeah, absolutely. We'll send him.
He was on his way downhill. That's why those spurs were shrinking.
He's an old warrior.
Yeah,
but no, that is. I mean, it's hard to find a bird here with like sharp, long spurs. It's just not. It's not common because the mountains it just keeps them more down. I mean, the inch spurs here, you're doing good.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. But it was such an epic hunt, and to be able to kill that bird. One being with John and Matt as well, which was the first time I met Matt. But John and I have been buddies for a while and talked, and we literally was just at my house a month ago doing a podcast, and we're like, man, it'd be sweet to be able to hunt together sometime, not knowing that we were going to meet up here to be able to hunt. So getting to be there with him and him calling that bird in for me and being there, because it was his last day to be there, and he'd shot a bird the day before. But I was like, it's his last day. I said, I got 4 or 5 days. I said, John, you're up to shoot. And he's like, no, he's like, I just shot one yesterday. He's like, I have just as much fun of sitting there and calling and being a part of it. And I appreciated that, but it was super cool to be able to have that in a super epic spot too. The photos that Matt took were awesome.
That's the greatest thing about hunting together. It's like, doesn't matter if you're on the camera, on the gun, if you're a second caller or a spectator. Like, if you're there and you kill and a bird's killed, everybody killed that bird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter who's on the gun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because if you're, I can assure you that everybody that turkey hunts down here would be a hell of a lot more deadly if they were out there on their own with no cameras, no extras. If they were just a single hunter, out there just hunting. So that's what's so fun for me. I mean, I spent the first few days behind the camera, and it don't bother me a bit because, like, if we call one in and you get it on film, then you killed it just as much as the guy on the gun did.
Well, when I was behind you today, I had my DJI that I was holding up, and I was just kind of in spectator mode behind you and Mack back there. I was getting worked up just as if I were the one holding the gun, looking down there. I'm like, this is so awesome to be able to watch in third person view of this whole thing going on.
It would have been real awesome if we'd seen that big red head come around.
I know.
Up through that brush.
I thought
he's still waiting. Smacked right in the face with some buckshot. That would have been awesome.
Buckshot, you could reach out there and touch him at 80.
Oh yeah. Well, 80 is a forward touch, but
no, I'm kidding.
You should go back and think about it. But no, that's what it's all about, man, is just sharing. I mean,
one thing I would say is that I do think it's kind of nice when you get to hunt with new people. Like, I just have spent the last week with Zach hunting and kind of like learning how he likes to hunt. And like, cause like when you're the camera guy, I like to think like I'm an extension of the hunting party. Like he'll always ask me what I think and I'll tell him what I think. And
yeah,
I think that's important too. Like getting a second opinion about, should we make this move? Should we not make this move? What do you think? Like just small stuff like that. Like,
I
think
nice
can really
have that.
Can really help like with success or, and I'm sure people would do it by themselves too, but I mean,
no,
I do like that aspect of it too.
I love bouncing ideas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was just like today. I was like, he's in the same place, don't you think, Mack? He's like, yeah, he's just down there.
We were on the same page. We're both on the wrong page.
Yeah, I mean, me and you was on the same page.
Yeah.
That bird was in a different chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Hell, we wasn't even on the same book as that bird.
No.
In a damn tree hour after daylight.
I know.
It still aggravates me. I just don't know what they're doing. I mean, I know they're henned up, but like, I like trying to figure out what they're doing to help me.
Well,
get in with them.
At least in my experience, when I've hunted when they're henned up, they still call. They're still gobbling more than what we're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the bug.
Whether it's on the roost or something, and like it's just not. And I mean, the weather's good.
Oh, I don't think you like. I don't think you can ask for a better morning than this morning.
It was amazing.
No humidity, mid-40s, absolute beautiful sunrise.
No wind.
No wind. I don't think you can ask for a better morning.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those mornings.
And like you hear one bird. It's like,
yeah. But you're walking out there.
There's got to be more than that.
Dark.
Yeah.
Like when we were walking out there in the dark, I was like, man, we're getting ready to just get rocked. We're going to have our, we're getting ready. I did. I was pumped this morning. I was like, we're going to have our druthers of which direction we're going to go. We're going to be able to go whatever direction because we're going to hear 2, 3, 4 birds.
My favorite part of this morning is when we were walking after that, we heard that bird. And like as we were all walking, Josh was leading, you were behind him, and he gobbles, and Josh just looks back. He's like, like,
yeah.
Did you hear him?
Yeah, I mean, it's just days like today, man. You think that they're just going to go crazy. Then you got days like me, Mack, and Zach. Friday.
When we hunted together,
yeah, Friday we hunted, and it wasn't a great day. It was an overcast day in the 60s, in an area that we absolutely know that there's birds. I was over there the day before, and heard over a handful of birds, and we go, and we heard a gobble at daybreak, and it was so faint we couldn't even figure out where he was at, and we never heard another bird all day. So I don't know, nice days, overcast days, I don't know if that's even mattering right now. I just don't think, there's just not a whole lot of vocalizing right now.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. I mean, I think there are definitely birds out there to be killed. We just got to keep on going, and it'll pay off. I mean, at some point, we're going to get rewarded for continuing to wake up, continue to walk, continue to call, continuing to hunt, and we will gain an opportunity by doing that.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. Now I only have one more day down here to be able to hunt. It's funny, I have a bunch of crap going on back home, problems with the rental property that I have, the Airbnb, and it just seems like every issue that you could imagine is going wrong when I leave for a trip. And I was like telling Josh, I was like, I don't know, I might skip the morning hunt to go back home and take care of this stuff. And he's like, Bubby, those problems are going to be there when you get home, whether it's at 7 o'clock at night or whether you're there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like,
shit, you're in WV, man. You might as well just stay as long as you can.
Yeah.
Before you get back to reality.
I do gotta give some credit here too, where I got to see a little bit of what Josh's daily life is like with balancing, your job as a contractor and with having Brody playing sports, and also, just keeping, spending time with the family and trying to hunt, doing all those things on a daily basis and be able to hunt as much as possible with that, and the sacrifice that you make in sleep.
Yeah, it's very little sleep. Yeah, it is.
Like, to get to our hunting spot today, because I stayed at your house, not where we actually are hunting at. We had to get up 3:30 in the morning, and you're doing that constantly. Plus, like tonight, you're going to a baseball game, Brody's baseball game, and you won't get home, you're saying, probably till 10:30 at night.
Yep.
Go to sleep, get up, have to do the same thing again, over and over again. And I say have to, like, it's awesome that you have that flexibility to be able to do that, but it's still, it's a grind.
Zach and I were talking about it, and you start thinking like it ain't sustainable to go But then, the way, and you all have heard me say it, I don't know how many times, but like, no matter how sleep deprived you are, like 99% of the rest of the hunters in this country that are working at their regular job would love to be as tired as you are doing what we do. So it ain't that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, it definitely sucks. And I feel like it, as I gotten older, it hits me harder. Like I can go for, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, but then it'll hit me. And it's just like, I start getting delirious and, I'm still going.
Yeah.
But like, I ain't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get just so tired and you can't think, you can't operate, and you're just like zombified.
Yep.
But it is, it is extremely hard to do what we do as it is, to film, to keep everything in order. You start getting sleep deprived. I know it's crazy, but like getting everything captured every day, keeping everything organized, trying to still run a contracting company, then, trying to get back for ball games. High school baseball, it's games every night. They don't take a day off. And usually I stay over here, during season, I'll stay over here 1 or 2 nights a week in the fall, but Brody doesn't have any fall sports until late in the season, so I get pretty good, I get an extra hour and 15 minutes of sleep when I stay over here but I can't bring myself as a dad to miss any games because I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to miss games just because I'm tired, or I could get an extra 2 hours of sleep if I don't go to the game. I ain't going to do it. I'm not going to miss games. If I'm able and I'm not sick or something, I'm going to his ball game, whether it's at home or away, and I'll figure out hunting, after that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, if I'm away and it's 11 o'clock at night, I might drive back here. At 11 o'clock at night and get here at midnight, and then not have to get up at 3:30. I can get up at 4:45. So it just, whatever it takes to hunt, that's what we do. But it's hectic. And it's my choice.
Yeah.
But it's a constant, we always talk about the grind, but it is a constant grind, to do that day in, day out. And then it makes it a lot easier when you're smashing heads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
It really, it will test your real persistence when you're not killing birds.
Yeah.
Like we're not, like right now. Mm-hmm. And we're still getting up and going after it.
Except for Zach.
Yeah, Zach decided, he decided warm-legged today.
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing the podcast. He's supposed to hunt with us, and But even from Mack, from your perspective of being the quote unquote camera guy, like I think it's helpful for anybody listening to hear even your perspective of it, because you're getting up like everybody else is doing that. Plus, you're responsible for capturing all this stuff and making sure you're not missing anything, coming back, dumping footage, charging cameras, editing things, getting things out, going through it, making sure stuff's organized again, ready to go for the next day, and keep doing it. What's that been like for you? Does it get to be a struggle at some points, or what do you think?
No, I think the funniest thing about that is like when I was interning here in the fall, and like Brett came down, like, and me, Cole, and Brett were hunting for like a whole week together.
Yeah.
And every day we were getting up and going and hiking 1.5 miles to go to this one spot where we were going to glass and look for this. There was one really nice buck in there, but there were several bucks in there that we were hunting basically, or like trying to get a stalk on. every day we would wake up and we knew we had to do the same walk, and it's a lot of uphill right away in the morning, and it's cold a lot of the time, and every day we're just like, oh dang, gotta go hunting again today. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like if that's the way you look at it, like it's like this does not suck at all. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
That's what.
dang, I have to wake up and go hunting. That sucks. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
That's
When you think about it, getting captured. I mean, it's really not that difficult. Editing, it takes some time. You just gotta choose the right time to get stuff done. And I think I've gotten better at doing specific things on certain days where I can, like, I'll do the intro for a video on Monday, and then I'll do certain parts throughout the week. That way I don't just kill myself on one day, like doing 8 hours of editing on a video. you know?
he's got better at time management.
Better at time. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
And you have. I agree with that. Because you get stuff done.
Yeah.
And it's not like cram.
Yeah.
Like you're cramming it all into a 7 or 8 hour shift. Because that's very hard.
Yeah,
to sit down and like.
The tough part is like when you like I've done it before, and it sucks. Like when you got to get a video out, like when we were doing 2 in the fall, and it's like you got to get this video out by 7, and you only have done like the first minute of the video, and nothing's cut. You just gotta be locked into that thing for like 8 hours straight and get in that mode, and it'll happen though.
Yeah. Well, and I've, one thing that I've noticed with you, Mack, is it seems like you're very eager to learn and wanting to, you're self-motivated to learn on the editing front and the camera stuff and be able to do so. And like, I'm sure, not putting you down in any way in this, Josh, but you're probably not the best teacher on editing.
Me?
Yeah.
No. The only thing I can tell you that I have good ideas. We can throw it up on the TV, and I can tell or explain like what
What you want something to look like.
Yeah, I can do that. But
Yeah, and you're very honest too.
me? Yeah, pretty honest.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody would
which I appreciate.
claim that.
Which anybody appreciates.
Yeah,
I think.
they should,
especially
appreciate.
somebody that wants to make something that's going to be cool. And
But no, I'm not. I ain't never. I cannot tell Mack a shortcut to use or what to do on the software. But I do have an idea of what the video should look like, and Mack's done a great job. And I don't ever try to limit the creativity of any of the guys.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if you feel like that's you want to try that, let's throw it out there. As long as it looks good, and it's still within the parameters of how we want our videos, man, let's go for it. I'm up for trying anything. I mean, it's not a set standard. I don't think it has been.
I do enjoy that.
What I mean?
Like having the freedom to kind of create whatever.
Yeah, I mean
the style that I think the viewers want, and I think that that I liked as well.
And my point in saying that was more so just that it takes a lot of self-motivation and drive of like, you're not going to be able to hold his hand through every aspect of it. You can give an idea and a visual. And I mean, honestly, that's a good from like especially when I was working full time, like I had a boss that was like that he didn't hold my hand. He wasn't looking over my shoulder all the time, but he gave me clear expectations, and I knew what those expectations were. And if he didn't like them, he told me that, which I enjoyed that. But it allowed me to have that freedom of learning it on my own and kind of.
You can see and this is an attaboy for Mack. I mean, you can see from when he got here in August last year. Like you can take our thumbnails. For instance, in August of last year, Cole was doing good thumbnails. But then we sat in here and looked at a bunch. You remember? And we were talking about cleaning the edges up, and then like Mack's thumbnail creativity has gone to a new level.
Yep.
And we've had other influencers or YouTubers even comment how well the thumbnails look and how well they're going, and that's a credit to Mack of not being limited, and us all, we put it up on the TV screen,
Working together.
and looking at them and saying, no, yeah. And I am honest. I mean, I'm not the creative guy, but if something is not the way that we want it, I mean, I say no. It looks like shit, or we need to change this, or hey. But now I give credit where credit's due too. If I text Mack all the time, like, you killed the video, like the thumbnail, it's fire.
Yeah, I think the thing that, I mean, you talked about being self-motivated. I think that just comes a bit down to like this is really what I love doing. Like,
yeah,
and I used to do this like on the side. Like when I was in college, I started editing and doing this stuff. Like, it's not like anybody was forcing me to do it. Like, I wanted to learn about it and get better at it. And so this is just like an outlet for me to do it.
Yeah,
so that's I think
you
it really all
seized an
comes down
opportunity,
and I get to go hunting.
Man, which sucks.
More than majority of people on Earth, so that's pretty insane.
Yeah,
and when I say hunting, like a lot of times I'm not on the gun, but like when I said that before, like when you're the camera guy, I feel like you're kind of an extension of the hunter.
Yeah,
to a point. That's how I kind of look at it. I love to be on the gun or the bow too.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but
yeah, no, it's pretty cool to be able to see that and I enjoy that with getting to hunt with you. Someone also that, like you said, is an extension of that you can bounce ideas off of and go through. And it's like having a hunting partner, even when, you're the one behind the camera. I mean, that's exactly what it is. But
yeah,
it's pretty cool to be able to see. But yeah, it's sweet to see that. And that's sort of, there's, you get people that reach out about how do you do this kind of stuff and go through it, and opportunities like the internship that you guys do at the Untamed. Have you done that yet for this year?
Yeah, we put out. We've received some emails. We haven't, with it being season, we honestly haven't looked at them. But we'll decide here in the next month. We have had some interest. We just put it out, though, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a couple
about
weeks ago.
taking internships. So any of you listeners, if you're looking to get into the industry, you're interested in doing an internship in West Virginia, email us. Hit us up on Instagram.
What's your email address?
theuntamedhunt@gmail.com.
There it is.
Yeah.
Hard sell.
We have a good time.
Hard plug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a I think that the past interns we've had, there's some that have figured out that they don't want to do this full time in any facet of the industry, and then we've got some that got successful YouTube channels. They're successful freelancers. Cole wasn't an intern. He wasn't not an intern. He was here for a whole year. He's working for Vortex. We got a bunch of successful interns. So, and it's a good time. It's just as much life experience as there is working experience.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
So it's a good 5-month commitment, and I think that it's a great thing. I would have loved to have done an internship. If I was younger, I definitely would have jumped all over it if I had the opportunity. Hell, I'd probably do one now if I wasn't doing this. Hell,
still could.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I still could.
You want to come help me out?
Hey, man. Not at this point, but I would. I mean, I really would. I mean, I think there's great opportunities all across the industry now with YouTube channels. And internships. If you get into the right one, where you fit, because you are going to be with these people a lot. And you want to fit in and have a good time. I mean, and just work hard. I mean, the biggest thing about the internship is like it's a grind, and you have to be dependable. And just having your mindset that this is what I'm going to be doing, and let's get after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So,
Got any parting thoughts?
Man, go ahead to a baseball game. I got about an hour and a half drive. And watch my boy play, which I love watching him play. And then I'll get me some dinner. Then I'll probably get me set my alarm around 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight, and be back up at 3:30 and head over here, and we're going to go out and kill a damn bird. Maybe 2.
We're due for a tour.
Oh, man. Are we not?
Hey, we doubled up last year, Josh.
We did.
Dude, yeah, that'd be sweet.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely would.
I
don't want to tell y'all what I'd do.
I'd run a lap around the trailer.
I was getting ready to say.
I'd jump in the creek down there. We shoot 2.
Heck, we shoot 2. I'm walking back to the truck. Wherever we shoot them, I'm walking back to the truck in my birthday suit.
Oh, heck yeah.
Wherever we're at.
Well, I'll just film it. That'll be great content. We'll see how many people we get to honk on the 4-lane.
Yeah, I ain't hitchhiking.
You're not going to get anybody picking you up.
No.
Well, anybody that's listening, watching, make sure you go, if you haven't already, make sure you go subscribe to the Untamed YouTube channel. Check out all the stuff they're putting out there. Facebook, Instagram, all the places there. Check out their website and their merch. My hunt from here with John Lewis will be on Just Hunt Club.
Yep.
It'll be out by the time this podcast goes out. So you head over to Just Hunt Club on YouTube and you can watch that. The new hats that both me and Mack got on here, they are live on the website. I got a brand new website that's rebuilt as of this weekend that we're here recording this, and it's out there going. So if you're inclined or want to check that out and support us that way, go ahead and do that. I'd appreciate it. But anything else I point everybody in the right direction, Josh?
Yeah, man. I always love coming on, dude, and BSing and catching up and sharing the woods, and it's like Beau's second residence down here.
Yep.
You know, he just comes and goes, and it's like he's got his own little place.
Yeah, I know.
I like it.
I know. I love it too, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate all you guys and getting to spend time with you and all the hospitality. So
yeah, absolutely.
And thanks everybody for listening. I guess we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, Beau.
Yep, thank you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with your buddies. Leave us a rating, a review, and subscribe. If you want to check out more content like this, there's plenty in the links below. We truly appreciate having you guys along with us.